All right, so Voss is leading the companions on this assault on the remaining forces above grounds at the Ogre encampment. It gets a bit bloody. Let's start that off right there. We're starting at the top of a new round where they're trying to get the jump on this Ogre right next to him, and we'll see how it goes. In addition, later on in the episode, we have a little bit of trouble brewing, and it's going to be entertaining to see how it pans out. Top of the round is Goblins and Voss at 22.
Here's a question. Do we get a surprise action on the Ogre?
You will not, because they've been alerted to something being wrong in the camp. But Voss does get to move first. You see that they've been alerted. You can see your group, your compatriots, start to stand up, like ready their weapons. So you're moving on down south?
I'm moving to try and I gotta back up this crew.
That brings us to our remaining goblins, so they will move as well towards this direction. They're not in any big rush because it's just a hobgoblin jerk. So they'll kind of get their movement in. They all start kind of filtering west towards the alert that the hobgoblin's given off. That is a 22, brings us to a 20 with the hobgoblins. The one that spotted the only one remaining, spotted the body. You hear the shink across the field as he draws his weapon and starts examining the body up there. After that brings us to Sybil at 14.
I'm going to move here, and I'm going to hold my action. My trigger is going to be when the rest of the party moves in and attacks.
Okay.
Since I'm ahead of everyone else.
You guys see Sybil kind of like just vault over the half wall, sprint across this field of corpses, and slide to a stop right within range of that massive ogre. That brings us to the one human.
Me or
No,
the bad guy human?
The bad guy human.
Oh, all right.
The bandit.
Fair.
That brings us to Dade after he moves. So he just starts moving west across the camp towards the alert.
I'm going to move right over here. And I'm going to cast a spell.
What are you
Or
casting?
sing a song, per se. I will be hitting him with Dissonant Whispers, but I'm casting it at level 2. So he needs to make a wisdom save, DC 14.
You're asking me to have a ogre make a wisdom save.
Yes, yes, I am. You could roll good.
We'll see.
Happened down below when we were doing it last time we game.
I got a 12, sir.
Hot. So you're going to take 21 damage as I bombard you with Kalanesti, basically hate in death spew.
Damn. That's pretty awesome.
That's hateful, man.
That's hateful.
That's hateful. As the psychic damage hits it from your terrible, terrible spell, you see the thing kind of arch its back as it grabs its head and starts like, oh, grunting in pain. Which brings us to Jorg.
No good positions here.
Little rough battlefield here, to be honest.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to need to separate from the group a little bit. All right. So first I'm going to just move here. And I'm going to try to remain behind the wall for a sec.
Okay.
But I'm going to prepare so that I can peek out from behind the wall and be able to shoot around the corner, but retain my cover.
Not a problem. After Jorg kind of sets himself up and springs a bit north and takes a little bit of cover behind that half wall that's kind of sitting there, Nizrith gets to go as her awareness of the battlefield starts to kind of sharpen into focus. So you slide up through into the half-collapsed building there.
He's in range. Tasha's hideous laughter.
Dick move.
What's the save on that?
Double psychic assault.
13 wisdom.
Wisdom saves. I hate all of you.
Basically.
It got a 7. So after the grunt and scream, it actually just starts laughing at the fact that it's bleeding out of its nose and starts staring at this large bear paw of a hand. And as
Which
it's
is
laughing,
the funniest hand he's ever seen.
it kind of falls to the ground and is just rolling, just laughing. That brings us to Carol.
I'm going to say something in my lilting casting voice, and my hand will raise up like I'm grasping the handle of something, and a blue hammer bathed in celestial light is going to appear right above the ogre's head, and it's immediately going to slam down on him.
Spiritual weapon?
Casting spiritual weapon.
About to catch a spiritual ass whooping.
No,
Not so much. Do you want to use a dice?
yes, I do.
All right, you have 31 left.
Yes, I would.
I give up.
That's 2 5s in a row.
That shit happened twice.
No,
Shit, dude.
that's
Damn.
2 1s in a row.
Yeah, well, 2 5 totals. Yeah, that's a little rough. So the spiritual weapon just sizzles into existence and swings down. As it swings, the ogre kind of rolls to the side with a laughter, and it just blasts into the earth. You see guys like bits of rock and earth just kind of spit into the air as it hits. That brings us to the ogre number 2, who can move. Here's this weird laughter and screaming from down below and starts making its way down and gets like midway of all the ruins of the buildings, not that far away from you guys, as you hear the thundering footsteps just pounding on the ground as it starts making its way towards you. That leads us to Krynn, who will cast blindness and deafness on that ogre.
Good call.
If he can. Let's take a look. Can he reach? I don't think he can. I think it's way too far away. He has to move 20 feet, but he can do that. Let's measure. Nope. We'll just actually come up behind Sybil and see if I can reach. Yes! All right. So he gets well within range. Cast blindness and deafness. He has to make a con save, difficulty 14. Unfortunately, the con save is a bit rough for them. They get a +3. Let's see how it goes. A 9 doesn't cut it. A 9 does not cut it.
Well done.
So, yeah, so he will make it blinded. As the ogre is struck blind by the spell from your white robe mage companion, it kind of staggers forward like it almost falls, and it's just like, ah! And it seems to start to panic as it's reaching out with these massive arms.
That's everybody on our side, right?
Yep, that brings us
Okay.
to the
And
top of the round.
I'll do my call to action
Okay,
since everybody has converged. And yeah,
gonna whack it
I'm gonna whack it.
with the
I'm
glaive.
gonna whack it good.
Prone.
And it is prone, yes. Yes, indeed.
That just gives me advantage, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or just roll advantage. 21.
21 is the better of the two. Will definitely hit. Go and roll your damage, sir.
Be a 10.
Not bad at all.
You rocked his shit.
So as you blast into this poor defenseless ogre, it's laughing. It gets to make a save to try to get out of that crazy shit.
He can make a saving throw since he has been damaged.
Yeah, he just did. He rolled an 18.
Cool.
Roll.
I have an answer for that.
You guys have answers for everything. I'm not surprised at this point. So,
Yeah, the answer for it's death.
I mean, that is a good option. That is a good option. The ogre gets hit from Sybil, seems to snap to its sense, snap out of the madness and the laughter, looks up at the wound that's been sliced across its torso from this massive glaive, and moves to sit up. As that happens, we go straight to our hero Voss at 22.
Our death machine.
Yeah, the murder machine.
To move 1, 2, 3, 4.
Not quite a Swedish murder machine, but still a murder machine
quite.
nonetheless.
I'm gonna move there, and I'm gonna take a bonus action to hide.
Good,
Of course.
good
you
roll
are.
your stuff.
Yeah.
A 12, not bad. So Voss runs west into the camp and just kind of vaults over some of the ruins, slides underneath the wide branches of a tree, and seems to vanish from view as he stealthily slides into the darkness. That brings us to the goblins, who, at this point, start making their way south towards this weird screaming ogre. But you can see that the ones that approach, like the one blind ogre that's flailing about, they're giving that wide berth. They're staying arm's length away from that guy because they might just get ham-fisted if they don't. After the goblins, we got the hobgoblin, who you just kind of hear this question like, what? And he starts running his way towards that direction. Again, staying arm's length away from the massive ogre, which brings us to Sybil again.
I'm going to lay another strike against the ogre.
Hit him while he's down, man. Just pow, beat on him.
Yep.
Let's see what you get. It's thinking.
Ooh. That's crit.
Ooh.
12.
12's not bad. As you bring your glaive down on the ogre for the second time, it has been trying to sit up, and you catch it right between the shoulder and the neck, and the glaive bites deep into the flesh. You hear it like just crack through the collarbone, and this thing screams in pain. Which brings us to the human bandit, who sees all this going on, sees a lot of you, at least those that are not hidden, decides to leave.
Yeah, I'd say I'm not hard to see. I'm 6'4".
Yeah, he starts to head
Morale's
out. He's like, you
broken.
know what? No, we're not hanging around for that. and starts
Fuck
making
this
his way
shit,
north.
I'm out. Fuck
Can't
this
say I
shit,
blame him,
I'm
really.
out. No thanks.
That brings us to Dade, who's just like ding, furiously barding in the corner.
I'll take 2 steps closer, and I will shiv said ogre with my rapier.
Yeah, you unsheath your blade and go to stab. Would you get
Shit.
A
We're
6?
definitely going to use one because that was a 1.
Yeah, that's not good, sir. You need to kind of
An
work
11. Maybe it'll hit him.
on that. An 11 will hit because they have hide armor.
All right, and the damage. 4.
4.
It was a roll. It was on a 7, and then it rolled over.
Hey,
Well-
every little bit counts.
The near misses
That's true.
don't count. But what happens is, as you lunge forward with your rapier attempting to stop this battle before it gets any further, the ogre in its flails of pain manages to move aside as you just slice right across its chest, very shallowly. And after Dade, that brings us to York.
That human bandit, is he over 180 feet away from me?
He is 80 feet away from you.
Well, hang on.
I think catapult's 120.
guy.
No, catapult's only 60. That guy's 80.
Oh,
He's
Yeah.
just a merc.
In
you
which
can move
case,
20 feet.
you know what? It's just probably just gonna be simpler to whatchamacallit, just shoot him.
Fuck, you just gotta die. Think.
Yeah, basically.
No one escapes.
No one
He
escapes.
he used to be a bandit till he
Wow.
caught an arrow to the
No
No
one
knee.
witnesses.
escapes death.
No witnesses.
All right.
We
I'm
use
just gonna
Noah.
arrow him. I'm gonna crossbow him.
Okay. 19 will definitely hit him in the back.
And 7.
7. Ooh.
It's a solid hit.
And
So-
then I am going to actually move to, I think, here. I'm still getting cover here. Is that correct?
ooh.
Yeah, you still get cover. So as York takes a shot with his light crossbow, lets the bolt fly, and starts making his way towards cover, those that are in the melee scuffle with the ogre hear that whistle as the bolt flies by. A quick glance confirms that it hits dead center in that bandit's back, and he staggers forward and falls into the grass.
Well played, salesman. Well played.
Damn.
You
That
say
brings
salesman,
us
I too have an uncle.
Weapons for self-defense.
that brings us to the Ward Forged.
Well, we have Ogre still alive, yes?
Mm-hmm.
He is within 60 feet of me, yes?
Oh, he most certainly is. Probably like 20 feet away from you.
Cloud of daggers. Just right on top of him.
Yeah. Okay.
He may take 7 from my cloud.
Yes, you are correct.
So as a cloud of daggers bursts into being, as you conjure it over the ogre as he's trying to get up, the daggers spin and slice through the air and just seem to shred him. As the ogre gives out a final scream and falls back into the ground, and the daggers still are spinning in a cloud over the area, just mincing into his flesh. After Nizrith, that brings us to Carol. The ogre has been killed.
Summarily executed.
The hammer
been
is
done
going
really
to travel
dirty.
its 20 feet to right here,
Okay? And try to strike at the other ogre.
and we'll attempt to strike at the other ogre.
That other ogre will be flat-footed. Not that it matters because it's just hide armor. So feel free to make you'll attack. 22 will definitely strike this creature. 5 is
good.
not bad.
And then I'm also going, and as moving and operating the spiritual hammer is a bonus action,
Mhm.
I will now cast Guiding Bolt.
To strike as well.
Yes.
Very well, sir. Let's see what you get.
Action economy.
Would you like to use a dice?
Yes, you would.
Yeah,
All right. Go ahead and reroll.
that's better.
22 again will definitely strike.
Ooh!
Wow.
Three
All right.
sixes.
So as Carol kind of moves in position, they view the ogre send the spiritual weapon over, which as that ogre is flinging about, the spiritual weapon crashes into its chest and makes it stagger a foot back. As it goes to lurch forward, the guiding bolt strikes it, and the energy just reverberates and just kind of cascades off its body as you just hear it scream in pain. It's blind. It's getting hit by stuff it can't even see. It's just now falling into a rage.
And it's also glowing now. Next person has advantage to hit it.
Yeah. It's just going to meander this general direction.
Today just isn't my day.
And as it runs southeast towards you guys, there's that tree that's just by it. The limbs of the branches of the tree strike it, and it just lashes out of the tree and starts slamming into the tree as it's confused and in pain and glowing. That brings us to Rin, who will take a step back calmly, and he will cast Melf's Acid Arrow. Second level spell, and it is a ranged spell attack, so let's go ahead and roll. Rin gets a 16, which is enough to hit it. Rin's damage is only 7, but it's enough to burn and make this thing even more angry and more confused, bringing us to Voss at the top of the round.
Now, boss, apparently you're being challenged for kills.
We're not just sure which one of us is challenging you for the kills.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Well,
up
that'll
in the
be
air.
Jorg with his ranged down in one shot.
I have yet to actually not kill someone in one shot with that crossbow. I'd say
Or-
it's lucky.
Or catapult.
Now, I have a question. Does the spiritual weapon count for flanking?
I'm gonna say no.
I'm pretty sure it has to be a creature.
Yeah,
You have
He's
advantage
glowing.
because he's glowing.
because he's glowing. Yep,
Oh, okay, so okay, all right. Well, I'm
and
gonna
he's
move over-
blind.
And he's blind,
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna run. I'm gonna make my way over and stab him.
Just shink.
Shivy.
Let's see what we get. A 19 certainly hits, sir. Certainly hits. I will
Do
let
this
you.
man dirty.
I will let you give your backstab damage because he's fighting the tree. So
The tree does have him flanked
the
currently.
tree is flanking him with you.
Little did we know that was actually an ent.
13.
Wow. All right. So you
Yeah,
guys.
3 of which is necrotic. Just so you know, my backstab is
Oh
necrotic.
yeah. So you stab this guy, and as you pull the rapier back, you've definitely struck home. Maybe the liver or the kidney. The blood starts flowing rather profusely, and as the blade hisses free of the flesh, you see the skin around it start to blacken and kind of grow like a bit rotted and decayed from your necrotic damage. Which brings us to the goblins.
Something wrong with you.
I disagree. There's everything right with him.
The goblins have decided to run.
All right, Jorg.
Catapult.
You're up, dude.
The hobgoblin has decided to run as well. Which brings us to Sybil.
Probably. Prudent on his part.
I am going to move up the ogre, and I'm going to make an attack. 19.
19 will definitely hit him.
That's going to be 11 damage.
Not bad.
Is he still standing?
Negative. You slide
Okay.
it up, and this thing is now kind of like staggered against the tree that it's been fighting. It swings back behind it, and as it turns, you bring up the glaive and just slash it right up into its stomach and hit the rib cage, and the blade of the glaive just kind of gets sunk home into the rest of its body. It staggers a bit backwards, pulls off your weapon, spits up blood, and falls backwards into the ground and doesn't move. With the ogres gone, I assume it's just a mop up.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You
Like,
guys,
I'll move the cloud of daggers to where I need to.
you guys can
murder
pretty
things.
easily take care of the last remaining 4. There's only 4 goblins, and excuse me, 5. 4 goblins and the hobgoblin. Between the 6 of you all, there's no issue. Well, the 7 really, if you consider Rin. There's no
Yeah.
issue taking them down. They're 7 hit point creatures, except for the hobgoblin's got a handful more. Pretty easy between crossbows and ranged spells and things like that. You can take them down rather simply. Now, I know that kind of hits the tally points here, and I apologize. Why don't we just give the tallies to everybody? You share the glory of the spoils there, and you eradicate these poor, clearly defenseless creatures against you.
For nothing.
We had a plan.
Hey,
And
we've
you-
done it. We've done a good deed here today.
You definitely went through the plan, let me tell you. Jesus.
For all the help.
Well, let's go
Night
meet
of
up with
Swans.
Liam and have breakfast.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
So you
I
guys,
want to search book. I want to search for any books or scrolls that have any type of spell or rituals. I want to make sure that if there's any written knowledge of what they've been doing, I want to make it disappear.
on these particular ogres that you guys have felled,
The ogres, the humans, the goblins, the hobgoblins.
nothing.
So as far as we're aware,
Um,
we got everything
Yeah, you guys got that book
that
down
we're
below.
aware of.
But as you kind of make your way up and start just checking the bodies for anything mystical or like what Barrel's looking for, you find that there's maybe between them probably about 20 copper, and then you have like some of their weapons. So the hobgoblins had short swords. The human mercenary that was trying to run away has like a rapier. The goblins had daggers, and then the ogres just had their fists. There's not really much on them outside of basic weaponry and what scant armor they had on. There's a couple coins, like I said. Nothing in terms of messages or any sort of scroll work or anything of that nature. It seems like all of that type of stuff was down below where you guys found that book.
There was some coin also and gems or something like that down below, was there not?
Yes. And I can re-put that up for you guys.
Does it seem pretty obvious that that was spoils taken from the dead elves, basically?
It could easily be, because none of the gemstones are really valuable. It could be either stuff they got from the refugee camp, or it could be things they found in the ruins here. There's nothing really much in terms of identifying markers on the gemstones. However, the steel pieces, some of them anyways, look like they're probably were at one point of elven stamp. And then like the copper and some of the silver seem to be very old, like, Vingaard, stamping on the coins. So those might have been found here.
Right now, I'm just kind of debating how I feel about actually taking that.
Good point. Definitely could be a good conversation. Now, you do have a potion bottle that you got from down below as well, including the wand that you also have. And then there's obviously the tome. But I'll let you guys discuss those spoils really quick as you guys kind of double check the field of battle. It looks clear as the sun is starting to rise further into the sky. There's no other signs of individuals that were here that may have left or anybody coming this direction. It seems like you guys took care of it all.
Other than what we grabbed down below, I have no desire to go body to body and loot people. So I will not be doing that.
No.
Nope. Yeah,
But
I just need to make sure that what they were doing down there, any information pertaining to that, does not. I need to gather it all up.
I get it. Just I'm not doing it. Other than that,
I will go body to body and loot.
other than that, anything we got from below or whatever, I assume we're putting in like a shared, probably Jorg's pouch or something. And we'll worry about it in Palanthas because it doesn't do us any good on the road anyways.
Yeah, I agree.
But I can make a wheelbarrow really quickly.
Wait and divvy it up when we get to Palanthas.
Mm-hmm.
So
But I'm particularly looking for, when I say I'm going body to body, I'm making sure that any, what I'm really looking for, I mean, I'll take coin, obviously.
yeah, you get like the 20
I'm a
copper, like I
rogue.
was saying.
But I'm keeping an eye out for anything that may have been looted from the refugee camp, that would have been like a family heirloom or anything like that, something that would have been of importance to the anybody in the refugee group.
Sure. As you go about this entire like battleground, there's not really anything that stands out in terms of things that may be of sentimental value. You do find like in some of the barrels and some of these like ruins and half collapsed buildings, some old rusted weaponry, like some short swords and like broken longbows. Arrows that are there are somewhat salvageable, but on the corpses of the elves and even on the corpses of the enemies you've dispatched here, nothing seems to be there in terms of any sort of family heirloom or personal items.
Okay.
Either they were already gone, the elves might have sold it to kind of make their way, or somebody else took it.
Okay. Right on.
You know, I was gonna say that I wasn't gonna skin these ogres because they've probably taken too much damage. But then I remembered I have mending.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Listen, motherfucker. Listen. Listen, Linda.
That's morbid.
I
as
mean,
fuck.
ogre hides are very, very useful.
God,
I'm just
I love
saying.
it.
Like this gnome's okay, right? We're sure this gnome's all right.
Even the metal thing that is only 5 years old is questioning whether or not the gnome's okay.
Well, you can definitely see about getting some of that taken care of if you really want to. I mean, it just takes you a little extra time.
Well, my whole opinion on it is it's a rather disgusting habit, but I understand that it's very valuable, and they're just animals, so go ahead and skin them.
I am a leather worker by trade.
They're animals. Go ahead and skin them.
Why are you justifying this?
He has to. He has to. Otherwise, he cries.
I also must pay my dues to the guild. So
Why?
yeah. I mean, I guess I'll.
Which-
I guess I will try to skin them at least.
Okay.
Boss, which direction did you say the carriage was?
South.
Sybil waves and starts heading towards the carriage.
Nizdrith will go join Sybil.
It'll take about an hour, to kind of get a rough skinning of these. It would generally take a lot longer than that, but an hour, with the level of skill and kind of like what's left there that you can take and mend will kind of cover you for both. After that time, you guys can all make it back to the carriage where you'll see on the wagon, Liam's just sitting there, not really napping, but he's got like his eyes slightly closed as he's watching you all kind of walk through the refugee camp and towards him. When he sees you, he just kind of gives you a wave. Are we done?
We're
It's
done.
done.
We're done.
And like dinner.
Rin nods like it's been taken care of as much as we can. And Liam just kind of shrugs. All right, just hop on the wagon, get on the horses, let's get the hell out of here. I want to get back to Palanthas in time to make sure everything is handled appropriately.
Yeah, I'm gonna have something to eat on the ride,
Agreed.
and I'll be cleaning the goblin blood off of my rapier.
Yeah, you don't mind eating on the road, right? We're not going to stop again.
Ah,
No, we can eat while we go.
All right, good. And you
Uh,
guys will.
Hard tap.
Sybil, while she's on her way to the back of the cart,
Rations.
is actually going to, as she passes by Voss, is actually going to lightly kind of knuckle him in the shoulder. He's like, not bad. She hops back as she hops into the back of the cart.
just give you a smile and a nod.
It's as good as you're going to get.
I'm gonna hop up front with Butternuts.
Butternuts.
I forgot his name.
Liam?
Liam is his name. Yeah.
Liam is now Butternuts.
Okay.
So you're saying he's a squash?
Glad we had this talk.
Well,
I
he's
mean,
not
if-
acting like a knight of Solamnia, so maybe.
I mean, if we take our first,
Bitch!
if we take our encounter with the first ogre, he was most definitely squashed during that. So
He was.
That's true. So was I, though.
They ain't talking shit.
Jade can't talk shit. On that first encounter, he went to the door of death and was dragged back.
That is fucking true.
Kicking and
Very
screaming.
true.
dude got yamshed.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. That was rough.
So, God damn it. I gotta look on that really quick because that shit's making me laugh.
It's like more like Krillin than Yamcha, because Yamcha fades away eventually. Krillin just keeps getting killed.
Oh my god, you guys are a trip.
We're fucking dorks, but it's okay.
Just wow.
And that's why we're friends, Corey.
Yep.
So you guys hop into the wagon and start making your way further west, and you can begin to travel on your day for the rest of the time. Now, a new day has dawned. I have to move the moon.
Long rest.
Yes, indeed, sir.
Huzzah.
I notably do not have alarm prepared for this day.
So it is currently April 4th as you guys make your way onto the road. You guys start traveling. You make your way from the refugee camp, the quarter mile, back to the road itself and start heading back west again. And as you start making your way, you can hear the water in the distance from the river that runs by. Kind of start to feel your senses. The air changes a bit in quality. You can smell the water in the air. And as you guys start approaching the river itself, you can see the ruins of the old Vingaard Keep right across the way. And it looks like Liam's heading directly in that direction. As you guys get to the edge of the river, the sun is on its way down, descending onto the west part of the horizon. And at that point, you guys have passed probably 2 or 3 other wagons that have been leaving from the area here, just kind of passing you during the day, nothing much going on. And Liam kind of pulls the wagon off by the river and basically sets up camp. Once that's being done, as the sun's starting to hit the horizon and almost about ready to set, he looks at everybody. He's like, all right, so we're going to have to find a way to fjord the river a bit. Cross shouldn't be that big of an issue. I think there's like a bit of a bridge like further up, maybe north by like a mile or so. But I figured we can go ahead and hit that up tomorrow and just get some rest tonight. All right?
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
All right.
What time of night is it?
It's just getting ready to hit sunset. So in the spring, probably like around 7 or so.
So it's a good time to stop, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Works for me.
Hi. And he'll basically cook up a bit of a dinner for you guys with a campfire. He manages to gather up by some driftwood and some other, like cast off wood that he finds around the area. Once the fire's starting up, he just gets you guys a basic dinner of like some beans and some meat. Looks like it's probably mutton or something of that nature, and just some potatoes, just root vegetables.
I will pull out my drum while we're eating and kind of relaxing and whatnot, and obviously play the Song of Rest. None of us need healing, I don't think, so.
No, I think everybody's good. I'm assuming
Yeah,
Carol's
yeah,
going to kind of
right.
forage for
It just
for food
makes
for them.
you-
Yes. I will.
Just
I
makes you
will. I
comfortable.
will do my Outlander foraging stuff so that anything that we have supply wise is
Replenished. Yeah.
well, right, and I actually get food that I can eat.
Right, because you don't want to touch the meat.
No,
I
I'm a
get
strict vegetarian, so
I get you 100%.
I can probably also go hunting too.
You
That's-
could.
What is that? Is that survival?
Yeah, it'd be a survival.
Yeah.
Just scrounge up game.
I'm not proficient at it, but I've got a +2 at least.
Could give it a shot.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, every roll you make for the hunting will be an hour of work.
I fail.
So going around the immediate area, as Jorg is not quite used to actually hunting for food, like not in the best of circumstances. He kind of forages around and starts looking for stuff to try to scatter up some game, knowing that he's a really good shot with his crossbow. But in the area around the river here, and the riverbed, you're not really finding much of anything. Fishing could be a better option, maybe, if you wanted to go that route. But as you've kind of gone through this first bout, the sun's getting further and further down towards the horizon. It's starting to get a little bit dark with just that glow of it on the western horizon.
Yeah, I'll probably head back.
Okay. You make it back, and by the time you're back, it looks like Liam has made up this stew, and he's just relaxing. He's smoking his pipe, leaning against one of the wagon wheels, and pretty much closing his eyes to rest after he eats a bit. He doesn't eat much, by the way. He seems to be just conserving his strength. Looks like he's not tired. He's just kind of resting. He's just making sure he's rested up. He has energy if he needs it, is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else manages to grab something to eat, has a relaxing night, got Dade playing his instrument. Carol brings in more vegetables for those that prefer that over the pseudo stew that Liam has made. And it's very quiet. Now, for Voss, when the sun goes down and the moon starts coming out, you don't see the ghosts this time around. Everything seems pretty quiet.
All right.
And I'm assuming that Nizrith is going to keep watch again, per usual,
I don't sleep.
because she doesn't sleep. As you guys see the moon, as you're starting to fall asleep, looking up at Solinari, you can see this small sliver of its eastern portion is missing. It's just covered in blackness. For the arcane among us, Nutari is now also full, as Solinari is starting to slowly go towards waning. The next morning, everybody wakes up. Nothing's worse for wear. As Nithris has kept watch over the evening, nothing's come near you, not even any real threatening game like wolves or anything of that nature. It stays very, very quiet. Everybody wakes up just fine. You'll see that Liam ends up sleeping under the wagon. Rin kind of just has his sleeping bag right by the fire to kind of relax. He gets up in the morning with the rest of you, starts flipping through his spell book and just memorizing some spells. Liam makes a really brief breakfast of potatoes and starts getting the horses ready to go after making sure they're watered by the river.
Sounds good.
2 or so hours, everybody gets packed up in the wagons and the horses again, and you guys cross the bridge like a mile up from where you're at. So as you guys start crossing the Vingaard River here, it's probably about a good, I'd say, couple 100 yards wide. It's a large river. Like, you actually have boats that come down through this area. As you guys cross over, there is some morning boat traffic that's coming down the river either way. You can see that it looks like people carrying like furs and other sorts of goods just being transported along the river as they're going further south towards Heartland and Salamnia itself. Not much. It's not like you're seeing boats everywhere, but you can see them in the distance, like kind of coming this direction and kind of floating off in the other areas. As you cross over the bridge, you can see Vingaard Keep just south and to the west of you. And it's this massive series of ruins. This large keep that was here that is at the end of the Knight's High Road that connects to Palanthas. And as you start heading towards the keep itself, Liam kind of chuckles. He's like, it's funny. When I think about it, the high road stops at a ruined keep. People have superstitions about a ruined keep and ghosts and goblins and ghastly things of that nature. But really, you have to go to the keep to get to the road to go to Palanthas and civilization. It just makes me chuckle sometimes when I think about it.
I'm sure we'll be all right.
I will be fine. I got strapping lads like you, and he kind of like closes his fist and gives you like this like brief pound on the shoulder. It'll be fine, lad. Rin, why don't you come on up? I haven't seen the last time you've seen the tower, and it's been a while, eh? And you'll see Rin kind of like peek out from the back of the wagon. He's like, what? He makes his way towards the front. Oh yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. And you'll see Liam kind of scooch over to one side. Why don't you have a seat, lad? We'll just ride on over. You know this place. Tell us the stories about it, eh? Rin just kind of shrugs like, I don't really know many stories about it, but I mean, it's a keep. It's ruined.
What kind of you said ghosts, like what kind of ghosts, like are these old, like who are they?
Well, you know, probably old knights that kind of watched over it and things of that nature before it went into ruin. You know, or maybe like some wailing banshees of elven maids in the night that scream and shout and do all kinds of scary things. I don't really know. I haven't spent the night there. Wouldn't want to because of ghosts. And he kind of chuckles.
Yeah,
Can I roll an insight on Liam? He seems awfully chatty and very weird. That he has not been like this the whole ride.
Like I second that.
Yeah, he's a bit
Like it might be because we're getting closer to Palanthas, right? And he's just finally gets his people back home. But something's fucking weird about this guy.
But also,
has
he's
been,
not a
just-
Solemnic Knight, or shouldn't have been. Maybe following Nutari, which is currently full.
This man has a very
My
honorable name.
rolls are
Thank you.
crap today.
All right, so we have insights all around. We have an 8 from Jorg. Carol's 19 from Carol. Very nice, very nice. Dane has a 15. You guys are suspicious as fuck. And we got Nizrith rolling. Who rolls a
suspicious.
natural 20?
Get the
There you
fuck
go.
out of here. All right.
The robot
Oh, it's hilarious.
determines the behavior of the human.
Right. Oh, human behavior.
And
I get it now.
Liam fucks it up.
Liam rolls an 8. He rolled a 1, which you know what that means? I'm rolling a dice. All right, let's try that again. 16. Who do I beat? How many of you do I beat with that? I beat
Everybody
2 of you.
except for Carol and Nizrith.
All right, we're going to try one more time. Use another dice. Brings down to 27 NPCs.
Clearly, this motherfucker hiding something.
We got a 20.
That
We got
still
20.
doesn't beat Nizrith.
It doesn't beat Nizrith. So there's not really much I can do about it. I've used 3 dice. I'm not using another one. So Nizrith realizes that he's nervous. Like he's got the jitters right now, which is making him talk more than usual. You've been with him for several days. Like everybody else in the group is kind of no doubt a character. This is not his usual type of banter. Nizrith can pick up on the fact, as you've been watching human behavior and, you know, other behavior, that this is not usual for this man in particular, and it seems to be a bit of nervousness. Some nerves are bundled up inside of him.
Mistress will actually kind of poke her head up. Do ghosts make you nervous?
You know, undead things do make me nervous, if I'm to be truthful. Spirits and ghosts and such. You ever hear the tale of the fallen knight of Solomnia? What's his name? Lord Soth, aye? That thing scares me to death. Death Knight, I think is what he was. I pissed off the gods, caused a cataclysm, could have stopped it and didn't. So yeah,
What?
ghosts make me a little nervous.
What is a Death Knight?
A knight that has betrayed his oath and got turned into a revenant of some sort, filled with evil magical powers, and is just vengeful against the living.
But why?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't come across
I
that.
don't know. Yeah, I would rather not have that happen on my watch, eh?
It's actually
Maybe.
northeast of here, isn't it?
Way back, actually. Yeah. Vingaard Keep, I want to say.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if we hit the ruins at night, either we stop before we hit the ruins, or we just travel through the night to get through it quicker.
Depends on how quickly we can get across the river.
That might work. You guys will actually clop over the river as he's talking about this.
But that's still a
Well,
little
they're
ways
around,
up, yeah.
They're around. I mean, if we're traveling, we're still traveling at night in the keep. So if something's around. Something's around.
I agree with you. There's really no stopping it.
Or there's an ambush waiting up ahead by some dark robed knights that we pissed off about 4 game sessions ago.
Forgot all about that shit.
Yeah, I didn't. I sure
Nope.
the fuck didn't.
Just handling some shit, all right? Don't you worry about the rolls, goddammit.
Why? Why?
Let's
Sybil's
to
been
worry
watching.
about all the rolls.
Why Sybil's been watching the road behind us.
Okay, so as you guys finish this talk and you're realizing that he's a little bit nervous and Nizrus is trying to kind of pull information out of him, you guys,
I'm trying to be comforting, thank you.
well, it's still a little weird. You're doing weird shit.
Robot.
You guys make your way towards the keep. As you can see that Liam is guiding you towards Vingaard Keep. And as you get closer and closer, the keep starts to loom up over in your vision. It's this massive series of ruined towers and buildings. This was a fully functional keep at one point that helped kind of guard the beginning of the Knight's Road. And as you get closer and closer, he actually kind of comes up to where the walls are mostly broken down and starts kind of taking the wagon along the broken cobblestone outside of those walls. And as he's looking over, he's like, Rin, you can't tell me you don't know how to defeat the ghosts in there. And as Rin's like, I don't know what you see these streaks of light as magic missiles arc up out of the ruins and just slam one after the other, 6 of them, into Rin's torso and slams him back against the wall, or excuse me, against the supports of the wagon itself. What nearly kills him is the longbow arrow that hits him right in the side and sends him back tumbling into the rest of the wagon. You'll see Liam shout out and look towards the ruins as he starts to go to snap at the horses, and he gets hit in the shoulder with a crossbow bolt. They kind of twist him back and kind of throws him back over the seat.
Oh look,
Ooh,
they found us.
an ambush.
So there's no way to react to that.
It's
Can
pretty
we
much
react?
the first thing that happens right before you guys get to go. This is where essentially the breaks in the walls are at, and you guys manage to see those streaks of light are coming from somewhere northeast in these ruins. You can hear the gasp of Rin in the back of the wagon as he's trying to draw breath from getting slammed back by magic missiles and catching an arrow to the lower side abdomen.
You said that those arrows came from which direction?
The arrows came from pretty much where you're sitting right now, straight ahead, past this tower in front of you. Now, all the
Oh,
jagged
okay.
edges here that you're seeing, those are all ruined keep walls. So there's a lot of passageways that run through this entire complex. And in the center, right north of you, there's this massive ruined tower that's been hollowed out. You can see that there's some trees that have been grown inside, but you can't really see completely through it because of the way that the different heads of the wall have broken up line of sight.
Hey, Voss, stealth stab.
Yeah, but I
Are we
can't
going to be
see.
doing initiative right now?
Yes.
Oh, that's bad. I don't suppose anybody
Yeah.
would mind if I.
Yes. Mine is
Eh.
fucking terrible.
Actually, I'll just deal with it.
Yeah, me too. Mine's not as bad as yours, but it's not much better.
All right, what do we got? What does Dade have for initiative?
Dade has a whopping 6.
6? What about Carol?
Nat 20, so I'm at 21.
21. Beautiful. Nizdrith
11.
11.
and Voss.
21.
Liam has a 9. Sybil?
3.
Oof. Jorg?
16.
All right, and let me do Rin really quick, even though he's fucking dying in the back. He has a 17. Not bad. All right. So, as this all goes down, you guys have a split second of reaction. You'll see that Liam gets hit in the shoulder with a crossbow bolt and gets kind of jolted back almost towards the wagon. As he pulls back, the horses neigh and stop. And he looks at everybody. He's like, take cover behind the wagon. We need to get them. Which leads us to the wagon being pretty much where you guys are at. As far as initiatives goes, looks like you guys are all going first for most of it. Carol and Voss are going absolutely first. I'll let you guys decide which one of you is going first on this particular turn.
I am willing to bet that Boss has a way higher dex score than I do.
Pretty sure he does. What is Voss's dex score?
19.
That's 6 better than me, so he goes first.
Sure. What's up, Voss?
What did Liam say? Take cover behind the wagon?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's see. And you said the arrows came from this type of area, sort
Yep.
of?
Well, the arrows came from straight ahead of you, somewhere either inside that collapsed tower or on the other side of it. The magic missiles came from the northeast.
Hmm. Then I am going to
Move through the bushes and the trees.
6.
He's very sneaky, sir.
I'm gonna take a bonus action to hide.
Unroll your stealth, you bastard.
I rolled a 1.
He's sneaky snack.
I'm gonna use a dice.
Okay.
There
27.
we go.
All right, then. So you go and turn into a ghost again. You just poof and vanish. You guys see, like, Voss rolls out of the wagon and slides through the underbrush and just seems to just disappear. Which leads us to Carol.
I'm gonna slide off my horse and I'm gonna look at Ren,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna say, Kamal Shah protect you. And I'm going to use my channel divinity and restore 15 hit points to him.
Beautiful. Wow.
Great for life domain clerics.
Yeah, he'll definitely
Yep.
get back up to 16 hit points. Beautiful. So you hear that sudden gas as you flush him with divine energy, and you'll see like his chest where he's been hit and kind of impacted, the bones snap back into place, and he pulls the arrow out as he kind of starts to sit up and just grunts. And he just gives you a nod, like a nod of sincere thanks. And that brings us to Vincent Jaron. Let's see where he's at.
Where you at, dog?
All right, that character has moved. You guys see springing out of these ruined towers 2 Baz Draconians. The bronze Draconians kind of like jump out over this ruined walls of the keep, and you can just see them out of like the corner of your eye as they kind of get a line of sight through the ruined towers in front of you. They just kind of glide off of that broken tower, which brings us to Rin, who will cast Mage Armor on self because fuck this. Yet again.
Yeah, because he caught a hot one.
He caught a couple hot ones. he caught 6 magic missiles and an arrow. So, yeah,
I got to be 6 magic missiles, right?
because you can spend multiple charges in a wand. After Rin gets up and casts his spell, he's kind of still in the back of the wagon, which brings us to Jorg.
So is there basically any sort of tree cover behind us? Is there a tree line behind us?
No, you have the trees to either side of you, and you have the wagon itself.
Okay, but there are trees to either side of us.
Yep.
Okay. Are any of them anywhere near as tall as the tower itself?
The one that's in front of you, the broken tower there, yeah, there's a little bit of leeway in terms of height. It's roughly, like, I'd say about 10 or so feet just shorter of the ruins of some of the walls in the tower. You'd be able to see into that tower, but not beyond the far wall, which is the tallest one.
Perfect. As a bonus action, I'm going to send Senger up to get some reconnaissance on what's going on inside the tower, at least.
Okay.
And then I am, as my main action, I think we are bringing out the Eldritch Cannon.
Cool.
Deploying
So
Eldritch Cannon.
as your automaton flies up into the air and kind of lands on one of the branches of this tree, it lets you know that inside of that tower there are 2 trees. One's rather large. It's almost as tall as the one that it's in right now. And there's like looks like there's a floor that's kind of partially there that would go along the inside rim of the tower wall. That's there for probably about 30 or 40 feet. That can probably get you a good line of sight that could go over it. But other than that, it's empty. There's nothing that it can see moving inside. It can detect movement on the other side of that, but it can't quite get a good eye of what it is. Just something's moving. In addition to those 2 Draconians. That brings us to Nizdrith.
I will move to try to get visual on this. And I see this.
Yield
Which one is-
Draconians.
Yes, I do see the dragon. Oh, cool. Right here, Ray.
Mhm.
Right here. This spot right here.
Yes.
They're going to have to make. Well, they can't.
Cloud of Daggers.
Yep.
Okay. Roll your damage. And Emily put something out there so we know that it's there.
I will roll 44. They will take both.
14. Wait, no, 13. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, I only rolled 1-1 on that. Would have been great if I had gotten all 4s across the board.
Yeah, so the daggers spring into existence and you hear them shout in like surprise. It's this really weird screeching voice. And you can see them more clearly as you've kind of made your way around. And they're wearing like scale mail armor, and they're both carrying shields. And as the daggers are flying around, they're trying to bat at the dagger cloud with the shields. It's having no effect because magic. And it just starts slicing into them. It's like shooting off small little bronze corrupted scales into the air. Which brings us to Sir Liam Shaley. Rolls to the back of the wagon, sits by Rin, and you see him kind of point towards the western side here of that tower. I need 2 people to come with me. We're going that direction. We're going to fucking try to flank them. And he'll move up those 2 squares. So that brings us to one of the bad guys.
I'll go as well, I'll say.
All right, and Rin's like, I'm with you. Which brings us to Dade. It's Dade's go.
So I'll go uno dos, so I can come up by him, and I'll say, as I kind of set my arm on his shoulder, or my hand on his shoulder, Branchala believes in you. Show us what the Knights of Salamnia can do. And I'll heal him.
Cool. He will be happy. You do see, though, as you guys get to that fallen tree log, as Liam's kind of down on one knee and he's drawn his blade. He's unfortunately still just wearing the chain shirt, which kind of sucks for him. He wasn't wearing his full plate. But you can see this wizard, that will be 2 more than he got damage-wise. You can see this wizard up further ahead of you wearing these red robes. It looks like he's preparing to cast a spell. This would be human. You can't really say that you recognize him from anywhere. Just some spellcaster out here who's apparently chanting right now. He sees you guys as you make it to the tree, just barely, and he's like, oh, and starts gesturing your direction. And that brings us to more bad guys. All right. And we go to Sybil. They have moved in the darkness.
Okay. Sybil. I'm going to move up to here.
Liam's holding his action, by the way, for the attack.
Okay.
Since drawing is free action.
Okay. I'm going to move up to here. I'm going to pull one of my hand axes and I'm going to toss it at the caster.
Just like, hey, dude. Fing!
Catch.
Suck on this a one time.
Suck on this a one time.
16 hits.
16. Let's check out this poor little apprentice wizard. Yes, sir. That most certainly hits an armor class of 10.
That'd do.
It'll definitely do.
That'll be 8 damage.
Oh, shit.
Like, so she
That's
literally
fucking
hops out.
hardcore.
Like, she just hops out the wagon, takes a dead sprint, slides to a stop here, and is just already has the hand axe in hand and just chucks it.
Whips it.
Gives her best fucking Jason Momoa huck.
As the hand axe spins haft overhead, like through the air, it gets a glimpse of the sunlight that's shining down through the ruins, and it slams the apprentice like right in the chest. This guy screams out and staggers backwards, blood gushing. Like, he's wearing red robes, his red suit. But clearly, like, this guy has been struck a devastating blow, and he is panicked. And that brings us
bad guys can't see him bleed.
one more bad guy, right?
He's probably wearing his brown pants.
Brown pants.
Too.
That brings us to Voss at the top of the round as everybody started to disperse a bit.
I am going to pull my short bow and fire an arrow at this guy from stealth.
Oh, one of the Draconians? Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not sure. It's not letting me point. There we
Okay.
go. This
All right.
one.
Yep, as they're getting shredded by the cloud of daggers, you're like, I got you. Think.
Yep.
So go ahead and roll your attack.
He's getting tired of the robot stealing his kills.
20 most certainly hits. Roll your damage, sir. 7. Oh, did you just... Jesus, are you for real?
Yeah, and then I'm gonna use Whales from the Grave, and I'm gonna hit his buddy for a D6 necrotic.
Oh, and I'm going to use my bonus action to give him another D6 of damage.
Wow.
Get him.
All right, let's
Ten
see. Okay.
more.
Motherfuckers in a minute.
Okay. Well, what I can say is the arrow flies true right through the cloud of daggers and strikes this Baz Draconian right in the throat as it turns to like look back in this direction just randomly. The arrow hits it, and you see this form immediately turn to stone, and the daggers start to clip off of it and just throw chunks of rock into the air. As the necrotic damage affects its partner, that one has a look of panic on its face, and it turns into a stone statue as well, and the daggers just start clanging off of just the stone rock of their formerly alive bodies.
I'm gonna use a bonus action to hide.
This fucking
Oh
guy
my
right
God.
here.
Go ahead.
Do they
roll
do
your-
that
And
when
it's,
they die, right?
Yes.
19.
Okay.
Baz, yeah.
Yeah, the baz turned to stone.
I'm just making sure that they're not like going into a stone form to like heal themselves or do something
Nope.
stupid like that.
No.
They turned to stone
Stone
in
and then
19.
I got a fucking rogue, and I'm gonna use it.
Yeah, no
Sounds,
shit.
sounds like it's the end of the round, right? Okay, I vanished.
You're pulling some
Right.
Asimite shit. And we
Some
got
nice
a
Asimite
20,
shit.
a 20 to spot you, son. Do you want to use a dice because you got a
It's the
19?
Nossamite.
Yeah, I want to use a dice.
All right.
How dare you?
You see me? You don't fucking see me.
You see me when I tell you you see
You don't
me.
see.
24.
You don't see shit.
Yeah, he's like,
Shit.
Fuck, dude.
So the guy,
I see. No, you don't.
yeah, the guy who thought he saw you was looking at some other tree, and you're just not there.
There's arrows
not
coming
the
from
tree you were
anywhere.
looking
It could have
for.
been. It could have been anything.
Right? There's daggers hitting rock statues, arrows flying. Like, what the hell? And hand axes stabbing motherfuckers. That brings us to Carol. What did they do?
Oh, I'm gonna have to move.
Cloud of daggers is the shit, bro.
Yeah, it
How the
is.
daggers is
Yeah.
fucking badass.
Just damn.
Best points I've ever used.
I'll move over here to see what I can see, which is not improving shit.
Not much yet. They're all hiding in the
Um,
buildings.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold up. If somebody pops out before the end of the turn, I'm probably gonna hit them with guiding bolt. So I'm just ready in case somebody pops their head out.
As you move up, Liam's going to use his action. Do I want to do
Just
this?
stab the
right
shit
now?
out of the bard.
Oh no.
What is wrong with you, Jeff?
I don't know.
no.
I'm paranoid, bro.
It's
nah,
not paranoia if they
actually-
are out to get you.
Liam's going to hold it because that's not really going to work to his benefit here. So my bad on that. All right, so we've got Voss went. We had Carol go. This guy's going to go now. Okay. And Rin will now get to go. Rin is going to move up with the rest of you guys over here. Get to the log. He is going to cast... He's going to cast blindness on that wizard. Just to make sure.
It's solid.
yeah.
Rolls a 13. Did not get what he needed. He will choose blindness, so the wizard goes blind. And as that spell finishes, you see Liam look over and go, "Good going, lad," and shanks him. Okay, can we say I've been waiting on that Liam moment the entire Chronicle so far, the entire game? Because there's been a lot of hints that Liam's not really up to, to Solamnic ideals, shall we say. And here and there, the companions have noticed it, but it wasn't until that strike where they knew something was off. And Corey's reaction of really kind of set it up for me. And we'll see where the group goes with this next episode and if they manage to get revenge on Liam for striking down their white robe mage friend. Either way, they've got enemies hiding throughout the ruins of Vingaard Keep. They still don't know what's out there lurking in the shadows for them, and they got Liam who just turned on them. So we'll see how it goes next episode. See you then.